playing so well, or he's just taking on more?
I would like to say because he's healthier, and also that his mindset has totally changed. I think that early on he had a different mindset, and he's kind of bought into what we're saying and how he has to go about his business on the floor for us to win. And he's playing beautiful basketball on both ends of the floor.
How do you get Jeremiah to stay at this level but get other guys to contribute more?
Yeah, I'm not really worried about Jeremiah staying at this level because I think he can. I think he's in a great rhythm. Our system affords him to be in good position for most of the night on the offensive end for sure. The other guys just have to step up to the challenge because they have the same opportunities. It just is what it is.
Talking about Tulane last time, I think it was a 4-point game that you guys won on the road. How do you guys try and give yourself a little more breathing room?
Yeah, well, we went into halftime up 18, and we had the famous halftime speech. The first 3 minutes, the first 4 minutes outside into the next half, we have to push away and don't let them have any breathing room and don't let them get back into the game. And, of course, we did. And we had a battle all the way into the end and ended up pulling it out. So we want to, find a way to finish the game and not just do it for 20 minutes, but do it for the entire 40 minutes.
You mentioned after the UCF game that you said you think that they're starting to turn the corner a little bit. You were in the game on the road the whole way. You didn't get rattled when you got hit in the mouth. And do you see that carrying over now? And do you really think that that's going to be a trend to go with the rest of this?
Well, yeah, I do, because we're focusing on the right things. We're focusing on what we were taught, the defensive schemes, the game plan for offense and defense, and really not trying to stray away from that too much. In the beginning, everybody was kind of in their own lane, doing their own thing, and now we're coming together and believing in the things that we've been taught from the defensive end and the offensive end. We've cut down on the bad shots. We're talking more on defense. We're in the right positions more so than what we were earlier in the season, and we just have to continue to do those. We continue to do those, then we're going to have a good chance to win.
What's been the biggest improvement from the last step until now, where you're starting to see them turn the corner?
Well, them fully buying into everything that we're saying. I mean, we watched every game, and after every game, we were like, "Wow, this person still isn't doing this, or these guys aren't doing this." And you show it to them on film, and the next game they go out and do the exact same thing. So now, actually, you look at film, they're doing it, and it's like they're constantly saying, okay, we've messed around a lot this season. Now it's time to actually focus on what we need to focus on. I think everybody had individual goals, and the individual goals got in the way of the team goal, and we weren't out there just doing what we needed to do. So now seeing that, it lets me know that we're going to be, we're moving forward.
Was there a moment where that sort of clicked and started to happen?
I think after we lost at South Florida, I think it started to be like troublesome to us to say, hey, this is where everything stops. This is where we have to start recognizing what we're doing. This is the common denominator in every game. We have to start doing these things if we really want to win and really believe that. And once we started believing in those things, the games got easier for us to play instead of blowouts.
Did that start with you, or did it start with the players?
No, it started with me, because I watch all film. I watch practice, I watch games, and they don't really watch as much film, so I can see the pattern of what was going on, and really started to get them to believe in more of the fundamentals of what we were doing.
How big a gap do you think there is from this team's ceiling to its floor, and how do you get closer to that? How close to that ceiling do you have to be to accomplish the things?
I think we got to be pretty close to that ceiling. Sorry for interrupting. I think we've gone halfway there, because there's still some other things that we have to buy into, and that's really good because we want to be at the ceiling by the time the conference tournament starts. And like I said, we're moving in the right direction. We were not doing some things really well that were costing us, the losses. And once we, like I said, bought in, then we started to rise, and then their confidence started to rise, and they put more emphasis on certain players and certain situations to do their jobs, more consistently and not get away with it, and the team got better.
Do you feel like that some of the guys are a little, I don't know, fragile is the right word, Penny, but still a little susceptible to letting emotions get hold of them when bad plays kind of start to pile up?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of emotional guys on this team, which kind of helps you and hurts you, because emotional guys are, they can get up, and then on the other side of it, you can get down. And in the past, it's hurt us. Once something bad happens in the team, we could be up in the game, and you think we were losing because of the guys. They weren't really doing as good individually, and just trying to get them to buy into team, it's kind of cheered them up a little bit more and just get out of their own way and just bring energy. I think they've changed their focus, so that's made it better for everybody, even though we have a lot of emotional players.
Is there a guy, you talked about Jeremiah being consistent, to get to that ceiling, is there somebody else or two to get to where you want
really has to up their game?
I really feel like Kevin Davenport and Antoine Jones, those two guys have to up their levels. They really do. I mean, because they can do it. I mean, they both have a lot of talent. Both, it's about motor. It's about focus. It's about, game plan discipline, and then buying into what we have.
Is Jones' health okay now?
He's getting better. I think he's healthy enough to play for sure. The mental side, I don't know. He checks in and he checks out. I mean, he's a great kid. He wants it so bad, and when he can't get it, it kind of takes him the other way. So, I mean, we're going to keep working with him, though.
This is the second time you played every team for the rest of the team. Has the preparation and execution, is it going to be easier to prepare for them?
It's definitely going to be easier to prepare for them because we're better. And the mindset is right, as far as understanding game plan and scheme. At first, we go into a shoot-around, everybody be wandering all over the place and try to make it up as the game started. Now you see the focus. So the second time around, knowing the personnel, the freshmen kind of have an idea of who's who, and you get an opportunity to, you already know what's going on. Now it's just about energy and hustle and heart.
You mentioned Antoine and Keaton. Those are two guys that I'm sure are very unique people to coach. How do you get to those guys and get them?
Man, Kevin is very difficult. Antoine, I think I can just kind of sit him down and talk to him, even though he's still going to have his emotions. Kevin, it's been difficult for me to kind of get to personally. He's a happy-go-lucky guy, and he's just different.
You said at the start of the season you guys kind of wanted to tailor this to be like an NBA-like team. Do you think that took a little while for the guys to catch up to speed with that?
Yeah, I think that's the things that we wanted to teach they haven't done before, and I think they kind of rejected it and kind of stayed into their own world. And it's taken up until now, honestly, for them to actually start coming around. But everything that we were teaching, we go through in practice, we'd have it down, and then when we get into games, they just revert back to what they were always doing before, and nobody was willing to change. And it was a lot going on, but, just the system itself and the culture, it's been hard to kind of get that culture going. But now, like I said, they're starting to turn the corner.
When you look back at the start of the season and how things have gone, how do you kind of assess this coaching staff? Has they exceeded your expectations from what you thought at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, because, I feel like the coaching staff has done a phenomenal job of having a team prepared. And that's what you really want. You want to have your team prepared, really over-prepared for every situation and every scenario. So I can't say one time where I've looked back at a coaching decision or a game plan and we were like, man, we were totally wrong on that. Do a good enough job of studying a lot of film, looking at a lot of our old games and looking at our practices and seeing what's what and putting guys in position to win. This becomes the effort situation once the game starts.
Coach, given the challenges with this particular team, as far as you got to reach certain guys, some guys you handle one way. On this level, what would you say you've learned about yourself as far as how to reach people and looking at, because when you were a player, you could pretty much do whatever you wanted to.
Yeah.
But now you got guys that have certain limits, and you have to be able to learn how to deal with them.
Yeah, I think for me, I've learned to have more personal time with the guys one-on-one, just to kind of try to find out who they are, what they like, what they have going on in practice, kind of see what they can do and what they can't do and try to keep them in winning situations instead of just expecting. At first I just expected for guys to get it and just, like if you're athletic, I feel like you're going to block shots, you're going to run the floor, you're going to do the things, but it wasn't that case. That wasn't the case. So basically just kind of having more, I need to talk to this kid one-on-one to figure out how he thinks, what's going on in his life. Does he have someone in his ear being negative? Is he coming in positive, or does he not want to be here? Whatever. Has he checked out? So I think I started doing that more this year than I ever had to.
When you talk about Antoine being kind of checked out, are you tempted sometimes to just like put him out there and say, hey, just go?
That's what I've been doing lately. There's still things in the game plan that he has to understand, because if he doesn't, then it's going to be like, four guys doing the right thing and him not, and that just puts a big hole in your defense. So I think that's the one thing that he's really been struggling with is the defensive end, and then shot selection and time. I think he feels like if he doesn't have the ball in his hands all the time, that he's not a part of the play, so he doesn't want to go as hard. And that's what we're trying to get him to do. Hey, even if you're in the play or not, you still have to run the play for your teammate, have to be a good team. And I think that's what's the hardest thing for him, because in Florida in high school, he had the ball in his hands all the time.
Did you do anything with him being hurt? Did you do anything to sort of make sure his head stays in it even when he's not on the floor?
Yeah, I just try to talk to him. But like I said, man, I told the guys yesterday, you have to be careful who influences your ear, when things aren't going your way. When things are going your way, everybody's happy. But when you face a little adversity, you need positive people around. And I don't know if Antoine's had that all the time. He just kind of gets down, and he wants people to tell him what he wants to hear. You just have to tell him the truth, and I think that's one thing he respects about me. I don't beat him up. I just try to tell him the truth and what has to happen on this level. It's not high school anymore.
You see the appreciation.
Yeah, I definitely see the appreciation. It's still tough for him.
Because I know a month ago you mentioned you're trying to put Georgetown on the schedule for next
Mm-hmm.
year. Anything on that update of that, or any other teams that you haven't mentioned already?
Well, I spoke with Tom Bowen this morning about Georgetown. He and the AD are on the same page. Now me and Patrick have to get on the same page. I think that's something that I really want to do. I think a Georgetown-Memphis game would be great.
How is Patrick? Did he give you any?
I haven't tried to reach out yet. I will reach out to him though, but I'm sure he'll be okay with it.
Got time for one more?
When you look at Tulane, is there a fine line where they're 0-12 in conference? You guys have played so well at home, not to maybe be overcome?
Well, we don't have a right to be overlooking anyone, you know, and you know, we have respect for Tulane because they're well coached. They still play really hard, and even though they haven't won a game, anybody can get hot on any given night. It could be foul trouble. It could be anything go crazy. We just have to just believe in the principles. We understand the game plan, stick to the game plan, and not try to waver, because what happens with us, we get up 10, 12, 15, then the game plan gets scrapped and thrown out, and the guys go wild. Then when the team makes a run, we try to get back to the game plan. So now we just have to stick to the game plan and on the defensive end, and then share the ball on the offensive end, and we should be okay.
How important is finishing top four to you and potentially getting that behind? Is it something preaching? Is it something that
Yeah, I mean, we lost 4 out of 5, man, and 3 in a row. That really hurt. But I'm still preaching, let's get to the top 4. I mean, you don't want to play every day. You want to have that one bye and then, you know, have an opportunity to be rested at home. That's what we're fighting for, and we know that right now.